Boo. Ha! Gotcha. What's up, everybody? This is Tyler with the Hollywood is Dead podcast, bringing you yet another episode. I'm super amped today for some reason. That little whip. God, it's nice. I love this song. I really do. It's the reason why I kept it. Because it's just got the energy. It just amps me up. I want to do the episode with this song. I want to do this podcast with this song. It's freaking awesome. How you guys doing? Good. No, I get it. It's, it's freaking almost the end of the week. And I mean, you've probably been through the ringer. You've probably been through it. Like, how did we get here? How is another week gone? How is that possible? It's pretty wild. I have closing weekend of the Rocky Horror Show, and it's been an incredible ride. It's been incredible. This year's been amazing. So we did 4 weeks of this show, and the last 3, so week 1 didn't sell out, but I mean, we filled up the auditorium. And the last 3 weekends, including this weekend, are like almost past capacity. I mean, that's exciting. As a performer, that's my jam. I like to perform to a full house. And I get to do that again tonight. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, this episode is going to be kind of interesting. And I'm going to do this on not a regular basis, but until I get this podcast really up and rolling. This is kind of to keep me on a schedule, to keep me going and keep me doing this thing, keep me loose. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Is I asked my really good friend, ChatGPT, to ask me some questions, that it was curious. It was just like, why are you, how? And so I'm going to answer some of those questions. I'm excited about that. It's kind of cool that we have this kind of technology available to us. It's such a great brainstorming tool, ChatGPT. I think it certainly serves a purpose, and it's going to have a huge impact on our ability to make fun stuff. And if you can hear that, that is a jet flying over my house. They've been training, and yesterday we had like 10 like F-35s, like Super Hornets and stuff flying over my house, because we're right on the descent into the airport. And yeah, so that was kind of cool. So it might get a little loud here in a second. But I think ChatGPT is a really great opportunity for filmmakers to be able to brainstorm ideas. It's difficult to find people to brainstorm with, and schedules, it's difficult to find people available. It's difficult to find people that kind of mesh with your ideas. And this thing just allows you to ask whatever questions and just be able to figure it out and get through the hard part of kind of, it can really help you break through some blocks as well. So I think it's a really cool tool, and I'm going to use it in this podcast. So boom, that's what we're doing. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening, by the way. It's been really great to hear some feedback. And if you do have feedback, please, I'm all ears, literally. Hit me up on Instagram. Official Hollywood is Dead, and you can DM me. Instagram's a great spot. And Ty Lockamy is my other Instagram. That's more of my personal one. But yeah, I mean, hit me up. I want to hear from you guys. It's really neat to see that there's a decent handful size of you guys listening to these episodes, and I just really appreciate it. It's nice. It's really nice. And I am recording this episode on video, so check out the old YouTube page, which is Hollywood is Dead podcast, and this video will be up on there. So, all right, let's jump in. Let's see what ChatGPT has for me. And I didn't vet any of these questions. I punched in the little queue, and it popped out 30 questions for me. And I read a couple of them, but I don't remember what they are. So here we go. All right, question number 1. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how you first became interested in acting and film production? When I was a young child, I used to I would direct plays with my brother, and we would do a play for my parents for Christmas. And so we would have, we'd just put together something, and no script or anything like that. It's just kind of on the fly, right? And we'd be like, come back in 30 minutes and we'll have the set built, and we'll have, and it's basically a blanket fort, and, something that the stage is, the bed is the stage. And so we would have chairs for my parents, and they would sit and watch us put on this little play. And so I don't know if I was interested in acting at that point as like a profession or anything, or like a pursuit. It was kind of just fun. And, I think I was always kind of enamored with television and movies and stuff like that. But I would do the same thing. I remember my grandparents lived in Daly City in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And on Thanksgiving, this must be like 95. So I was probably about 11. And Ace Ventura had come out in like 94. And so I was going through this whole Ace Ventura phase where I would just be like, oh, righty then. Do you know the dolphin? And I would just kind of be in this thing, but I played a butler that was doing an impression of Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura. So it was entertaining. I'm sure it was very entertaining, but I was definitely seeking some attention there. So, it's like, that was kind of I was just having fun. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to grow up to be an actor. I was just having fun. I just wanted to, that's just what I was doing. And so, all through high school, my high school didn't have a drama department, didn't have anything like that. So, all through high school, I was just kind of goofing around like that with my buddies. We would film, our own take on the Matrix. We did like a Matrix bullet time. And I wish to God that I could find the VHS. I had to edit reel to reel, like VHS player to VHS player, and time it and edit that way. It was very tedious, and it was super fun. But we did, I remember one time I had to do a book report, and I was really bad at focusing on writing. Still am not great. If I have a hard deadline, I can get stuff done really fast, and it's really good. But at this time, I asked my teacher if I could do a video report instead. And this was of Grapes of Wrath. And so I took Rage Against the Machine song, Maggie's Farm, and I made that into a Grapes of Wrath book report where my buddies and I played characters from the book, and we did a report on each character. So that was cool. So, I mean, you know, again, not ever like, oh yeah, I'm going to move to LA after high school. It wasn't until I was 17 years old that I got a role in Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and I got to play Prince Robert, that I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like actually being on a stage in front of people, it freaked me out. And singing, I'd never sang before in front of anybody, by myself. You know, I think I was in a choir, and then I grew up going to church and stuff, so I'd sing in church. And Snow White was kind of that first one. And then right after that, I got cast as Conrad Birdie in Bye Bye Birdie. And at that moment, I was like, huh, I kind of really like this. And during Bye Bye Birdie, I was 18. But I didn't move to LA. I didn't make up my mind like, I'm going to do this until I was 21, where I moved to LA 2 weeks after I spent a single day in LA, where I went down to just kind of check it out. They had this like, it's like a talent scout sort of, but they would basically link you with acting coaches and get your headshots done. So I flew down in the morning, got my headshots done, went to these different acting classes, and flew back that same night. And during that flight, or when I got picked up at the airport by my mom, she was like, so how was it? I was like, it was really something. And she was like, you should go for it. You should move. And so 2 weeks after she picked me up from the airport, I moved to LA. I knew one guy that I'd met up here in Northern California, and they filmed this kind of horror film on my family's ranch that we had at the time, and I barely knew him. So I hit him up on text message and was like, hey man, I'm moving down south. Can I crash on your couch? Do you know any place that I could stay? And he was like, sure, man, you can come down and stay with us. So, went down there and crashed on his couch. I was freaked out. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know at all how to pursue acting. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And, it was really interesting because I'd never lived outside of my hometown by myself, much less. And so I crashed on this dude's couch, got into an acting class with Bernard Hiller. Really great, fantastic, time. Got to meet some people, Christian and Alicia. And they found out that I was paying like $800 a month to crash on this dude's couch that was 2 feet too short for me. I'm 6'2", and this couch was probably 4 feet long. And it was a bed. It like folded out into a bed, but it was like sleeping. You know those things that you put tortillas in when you're building a taco? Like those hard, like they kind of do like a wave so you can put the tortilla in and it keeps it, and then you can put your meat and cheese and lettuce and guacamole and hot sauce on it. The bed basically looked like that when it was laid out flat. And so I just kept it as a couch, and I just put my feet up on the armrest on one side, my head on the other armrest on the other side. And that's how I slept for like 3 or 4 months. And so Christian and Alicia, brother and sister, were like, dude, we live in Santa Monica. You could come down, crash on our couch, our futon. We have a futon in the living room. As long as you don't mind, we're up kind of early, and we go to bed late, and I was like, whatever. So I crashed on their futon, and I was DOF, dude on futon, for like 8 months. And then they very politely told me that I needed to move out, because I had 2 jobs at the time, making really good money, and I could afford my own apartment. And so after 8 months of DOF, dude on futon, I moved out into my own apartment with a buddy of mine. And that's when, so that's kind of the catalyst for the acting side, right? The film production side came a few years after I'd moved down, and I'd gone to not as many auditions as I would have hoped. And a lot of that was fear-based. A lot of it was kind of motivation, and, I was making pretty decent money. And I think this happens to a lot of people when they move to LA. You move to be an actor. And, a good handful of people get, degrees from universities that they've paid a lot of money into. I never went to college or anything like that for acting, and I didn't have any student debt or anything like that. So I think what happens with a lot of people is they'll move to LA, and then life takes over. When can I pursue art when I have to pay my really expensive rent? I need to pay my really expensive bar tab. And how am I supposed to go in the middle of a day, drive 4 miles? It takes an hour and a half to drive 4 miles to go to this audition, where I walk into the room, and lo and behold, there's 25 other guys in there. They're all 6'2". They all have better bodies than me. We all have dark hair, blue eyes, and we've all got the same lines, and we've all got the same insecurities. And then we all walk into the same room, and we all get the same blank stare from the casting director, and we all have to put on this thing that just feels very uncomfortable, feels very not natural. It just felt not fun, and I didn't like auditioning. And it was mostly born from insecurities about myself, that I didn't like auditioning. Now, dude, once the SAG thing gets over, I feel I'm going to crush auditioning. Yeah, I'm going to crush auditioning. I'm just a different person, even in the last year and a half. And we'll get into that later. So I didn't want to audition. I didn't want to go to a casting director's office and audition. So I decided, luck would have it that at that time that the opportunity came, that I met my current business partner, Michael Ryan. And we've been friends now for 15 years. And working together for 15 years, and just being very picky about what we do, and learning as we go. And when I met up with him, which is a whole fun story, which I'm going to have him on, and we can talk about that. That'll be like a whole episode of the first day I ever met Michael. And so I decided, if I produce my own projects, I don't have to go and audition. I can just put myself in. And so I did that. But then producing was really stressful and very time consuming, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go to school for any of this stuff, and it just felt kind of overwhelming. So I kind of focused on the producing side when a project would come along. And then I stopped putting myself in stuff. I would do stage, I would do theater, which I still do to this day. And the video film side kind of got pushed to the side a little bit, which is sad. But I mean, that's how the producing side came along. And over the years, we've just been able to get a a handful of projects done, and the one that we're working on, the one that we are currently in post-production on right now, is by far our largest and the most exciting. So, which I think ChatGPT asks me about in a few questions here. So, okay. So that's how I got into acting. That's how I first became interested in acting and film production. Okay. So, question number 2. I'm going to mark this so that we can put little chapters in the show notes. Question 2. What inspired you to pursue a career in both acting and film production? Okay, we already talked about that. That's the necessity of acting got me into film production, and my love of entertaining my family is what got me into the acting. And then my mom's encouragement to move, which is really, really fucking awesome, if you ask me. I've had so much support in my life, especially from her. It's just been really incredible. So thank you, Mom. All right. Question number 3. As an actor, what type of roles or genres do you find most fulfilling to work on? Now, this is sad because I haven't worked in a whole ton of different genres. Oh, because I mean, I'm also thinking like, oh, this is just for film, right? No, it says as an actor, what type of roles or genres do you find most fulfilling to work on? In film, definitely the action side I think is really rad. I kind of did a drama, kind of suspense drama as my first feature film way back in the day, which was super fun because, you know, everything is very intimate with the camera. It's just right there. And that was a really cool experience, but I like action. I like, it's super, super fun. I'm still, you know, my CV for film acting is not where I want it, if I'm being completely honest. So I want to do more. So I'm really excited to get this SAG-AFTRA strike settled, and so that we can get back to work. Because I just have a lot of goals. I feel a fire inside of me, and it's burning real bright. Now for theater, I'm a funny guy. I'm not trying to, it's, you know, there in life, I think that there's a necessity for a healthy amount of ego. I don't have this ego where I think I'm better than anybody, but I do have just enough self-awareness to know that I'm funny. I have timing. I have, you know, it's my favorite thing to make people laugh. And so I am just I am proud. I'm not prideful, but I'm proud that I have this ability as an actor to be funny on stage. And that is by far my favorite genre. Comedy, theater comedy. Musical comedies, super fun. I was Brave Sir Robin in Spamalot, and I had the time of my life. For real. Even though on closing night, I forgot my lines during my solo song and during a segment. And there's a break, like right after I forgot my lines, there's a break. And I walk back to this little play piano, and there's a piano like run, you know, like that is pre-recorded. I don't have to do anything. I just have to mimic that I'm doing this, right? So I sit down at the piano and I take my gloves off in a real dramatic fashion, and I sit down and I throw my hands up like a real concert pianist, and I say, let me see if I can remember this part. And the whole audience lost their shit because it was so tense and so awkward because it was really obvious that I had forgotten. Yeah, just on closing night, like I know my lines, just for whatever reason, something just threw me off. And I had PTSD from that moment for about a year and a half. It was frightening. If you've ever been up on stage in front of a few hundred people and experienced that, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is not fun. It was brutal. But yeah, musical comedies, love. Acting in video, film, action, drama, comedy, for sure. Okay, we are moving right along. Question number 4. As a film producer, what do you look for in a script or project that makes you want to get involved? This is not in like, I'm trying to think here. It's not like in a particular order, but I think the first thing, because we get so many emails, read my script. Award-winning short film director. I wrote this, and read my script. It's a feature film. Could get made for, $3-4 million. The number one thing that I look for is there financing attached? Do you have actors attached? That's literally it. Because then the other determining factor is the script good? I don't necessarily care if it's a drama or a comedy or action or sci-fi. That's not necessarily important to me. It needs to be good. It needs to be compelling. And that is subjective. So to me, a good script takes me on a journey. It's unpredictable. I read a script recently that is it's a horror comedy, and it's one of the most grotesque, hilarious scripts I've ever read. And when I read a script like that, and there's a handful that I'm thinking of literally right now, that when I read them, what I'm looking for is that reaction where I'm like, I want to see this movie. That is the number one thing. When I read the script and I say to myself, my God, I want to see this film. Because I can tell, like, if it's executed right, then boom, Bob's your uncle. Like, it's going to be awesome to me. So, that's really the big determining factor for myself. But beyond that, it's like, do you have money attached? Because that's the hardest part, right? That's what that's the thing that's preventing every single one of us from doing the project that we want to do. So, yeah, it's the hardest part by far. Making the film is structural, if you have a strong foundation, then chances are you're gonna get through and make the movie no matter what. But you can't even get started without money. So yeah, that's where that's at. So do I want to watch this movie? That's what I look for in a script. All right, here we go. Question number 5. Can you share a recent success or achievement in your acting career that you're particularly proud of? Yeah. Two things. Number two is I get to check off a little bucket list item of acting on a stage that I grew up going to called the Cascade Theater. And they would do these Christmas shows every year. And my family and I would go watch them. My wife and I now go and watch them. And they're just good, wholesome, good family time, you know. And the theater is this Art Deco, 1930s Art Deco, beautifully restored theater that reopened in 2003. And I've had a lot of friends on that stage. And I never got the opportunity. I was supposed to be in The Wedding Singer, where I was going to be playing Gulia. Is it Brad Gulia or something like that? The douchebag fiance boyfriend guy. It was a musical and it got shut down because of COVID. So right before everything shut down, they had to cancel the show. So I missed out on being able to be in that show. So then this year, I was asked to come and audition for role of Jack Frost, which I get to play like this game show host, which is really cool. And it's, you know, the play is written by a friend of mine and directed by a friend of mine. And so I've made so many new friends now because of this play. And it's just, it's a big deal for me to be able to be on that stage. So super cool. Number one on the, on a recent success or achievement in my acting career is I got to share screen with, and this kind of coincides with success or achievement in film producing as well, because I'm acting in a movie that I am producing called The Dresden Sun, and I get to share a screen with Christina Ricci. I get to share a screen with Linus Roach. I get to share the screen with Stephen Ogg, and I get to share the screen with Samantha Wynn. And that's something that that if you would have told me 10, 15 years ago that I'd be able to say is a huge surprise to me. So proud of that. That took a lot of my life to get to this point. So that's a huge accomplishment. It's something that I this last year and a half has been really difficult mentally, and so it's something that I don't normally think of as being like this really cool thing that I did, and so being able to actually think of it that way is kind of nice for a change. So, I'm very, very happy with that. And I can't wait to see this movie. That's the thing that gets me excited about it. It's such a cool film. I'm telling you, it's Dresden Sun is going to be really cool. Okay. So, moving right along again. So yeah, that was going to be question number 6. Can you highlight a recent film project you've produced that you're excited about? Yeah. The Dresden Sun. It's our second feature film, and we were able to get Christina Ricci in it, Mina Suvari, Linus Roach. And if you've listened to the previous iteration of this podcast, you'll kind of know that I have a tremendous amount of respect for a production company called Spectravision, and they made a movie that I think is, or they produced a movie that I think is a massive accomplishment called Mandy, with Nicolas Cage. If you haven't seen it, go now. This is a great time to watch it. It's just the perfect mood. And Nicolas Cage is really astounding in this movie. Panos Cosmatos is the director and writer, and he really created something that I think is going to live forever in the annals of film, the library. And so Linus Roach plays the antagonist in the movie, a Charles Manson type cult leader who's a failed musician. And so, I mean, we got these guys in the movie and they did amazing. They did unbelievable work. You know, it's such a blessing to be able to get these guys in this film. It's really something else. So, yeah, I'm very, 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 very excited about that movie. All right. Question number 7. What are your primary career goals and aspirations in both fields? My primary career goals and aspirations in acting are to do more. So audition more, seek out opportunities more, and set myself up for the future where I don't have regrets about not trying hard enough. It's something that I'm really actively trying to work through, which is, you know, I don't feel that I'm doing enough. And yeah, it's just that's my thing. I just want to do more acting, put myself out there, be more vulnerable, and have a body of work that I'm proud of, but not, I don't want to judge, you know, obviously it's like if I don't like the project, whatever, and I'm still doing it, then it's like, well, why am I doing it? But at the same time, I don't want to judge something. You know, if I was in a Hallmark movie, I'm not gonna, my wife would love that. Are you kidding me? She would love to see me in a Hallmark movie. And so I'm not going to judge that. I'm going to do it. But I mean, man, I would love to have the opportunity to be in something like Mandy, or be in something that really pushes the boundaries, you know, that adds to the artistic integrity of film. That would be like my all-time aspiration, is just to add to film history. That would kind of be my big thing, right? On the production side, man, I don't know. Film producing is a very particular skill set. And unless you have a really good team, it's really, really hard and stressful. And this last project really took me through the ringer. Not during production. I handled production fine. It was after the production, you know, that post-set blues sort of thing. And that was really hard. And thank God that, I don't know, we just learned so many lessons. You know, number one lesson is if you quit, then it's over, obviously. If you don't quit, then there's no way you're not going to complete the project. And so that was a really crazy thing. And, you know, it's acting and film producing is the equivalent of being an employee or being an employer. And so being an employer, you take your work home with you every single day. And that can be really hard. I'm not totally against it. It's just, you know, when you're just acting, you can do your day or your week or your month and go home, and then in 6 months to 2 years, your movie's out or your project, whatever it is, and you get to enjoy the spoils of that. I mean, to me, that's way more appealing. But I have, you know, Archetype Pictures has some really fun projects that we would like to get made, and no one else is going to make them for us. And so, of course, I'm going to produce those with Michael. And so, out of necessity, that's where the producing side goes. So, you know, my aspirations are to you know, if something really speaks to me, then of course. And I would love to produce something that changes or adds to film history as well. So, you know, I want to do more acting. I don't care what it is. And I would like to produce a handful of films that I'm really excited about. Because usually when I read a script and I want to see this movie, then that's what's going to drive me to to get that producer hat back on and put the pieces together. So, yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but it is what it is. All right. Question 8. How do you balance your roles as an actor and film producer effectively? Have good people around you. It's not like I was a line producer or a production manager or anything like that. Like, most of my producing work was done before we went to film. And of course, every single day there was something else for the others, you know, whatever was going on set. But I would just be producing in my character's makeup and wardrobe, so, and hair. So it didn't change anything. I balanced it just the way I thought anybody would, actually. Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Question number 9. Who are some of your favorite actors or filmmakers that have influenced your work? Oh, this is good. Jim Carrey, Chris Farley. Those are two that I would say, not even just my work, but just my personality. It's interesting. See, the types of film, the type of actor that I would like to be, and obviously there's only one, and everybody would say something like this, but, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis was really, Last of the Mohegans, the feeling that I got when watching that movie, and watching him perform, he was just so cool, you know. And I I mean, I don't know if that influences my work. I don't know. I'm going to have to come back to that. I have favorite actors. Well, it's like people that maybe I would kind of aspire to be like professionally, and this is not personally, and this is definitely not personally. I don't want to be like these people in real life, but professionally, I was a huge Braveheart fan, and I just loved Mel Gibson in Braveheart. I loved everything about it. The whole film was gorgeous. I loved Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves. Like that sort of, oh man, a Western like that. Those landscapes. It was just gorgeous. Really, 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 really fantastic all the way around. I mean, those films just make you feel good about being, pursuing acting or anything like that. Like the possibilities that you can make something like that and act in it. That's one of the things that really kind of got me excited. Someone who's influenced me kind of with this idea of kind of hope and that it's not too late, I'm 39, is George Clooney, kind of is that epitome of don't quit, because you might make it a little bit later on, or, there's a handful of actors out there that got started really kind of late on. I think even Morgan Freeman, didn't he start fairly late in his life, being a really successful film actor? I don't know if that influences my work, but at least it tells me not to quit, not to give up. The amount of times that I've thought of just quitting and getting my heavy equipment operator's license so that I can run a tractor all day long. It's a lot. I've thought about it a lot. Not so much right now. I'm really excited about where I'm at right now, but yeah, I don't think I have a style. I don't know that I have a body of work that is, I don't know that I have a body of work enough right yet, especially on film, that I could say that there's a direct where you can see it. If I'm like, yeah, Jim Carrey. Oh God, yeah, no, you can definitely tell he was influenced by Jim Carrey. No, you can't. Like I don't have that yet. So, those types of things I want to work for. These are having a body of work that I would be so proud of, and that I've been able to really develop my own voice and style. I think that'd be really cool. Okay, didn't answer that question. Moving right along. In what ways do your experiences as an actor inform your decisions as a film producer and vice versa? Again, I don't have that kind of body of work. In what ways do your experiences as an actor inform your decisions as a film producer? I mean, I'm not going to produce a film that I wouldn't want to act in, put it that way. So, but I will act in a film that I wouldn't produce. How about that? So they're not directly correlated. But if I'm producing a film, you better believe I'm going to put myself in it one way or another. So done that in both movies that I've produced. Question 11. Can you share a memorable behind the scenes moment from a film production you've been involved in? Holy yeah. Oh, here's a fun one. This is kind of funny, actually. During our first film called Interpreters, little horror sci-fi, we were filming outside of a grocery store in Bella Vista, California, which is way up north. We're 3.5 hours north of San Francisco. So 2.5 hours north of Sacramento, way up here. So we were filming at this little gas station supermarket. It's called Mighty Fine Foods. M-Y-T Fine Foods. Mighty Fine. Super small town stuff. And so we're filming. We have my Ford F-150 has decals on the side of it and makes it look like a sheriff truck. It's got the red and blues on the top, a light bar for a police car. And we have it wired up, and it's got lights and everything. So it can light up, it can do all that stuff. And we would cover it when driving around town because you're not allowed to display police lights like that unless you're actually a police vehicle. So, and then we had our actor who looked like a sheriff, had the gun belt on, all this stuff. You can kind of see where this is going, maybe a little run-in with the real law. And so it's about 2 a.m, and all of a sudden, this team, a SWAT team, a literal SWAT team, comes in, and they didn't come straight over to us. Like, we were just there, and it seemed like they were definitely staging. They were staging for something. They were getting ready. We have a lot of drugs up here. We have a lot of, at the time, weed was not legal. We had a lot of grows up here. We have a lot of meth. We have a lot of heroin. Now we have a lot of fentanyl. It's just, it's sad. But at that time, so who knows what these guys are prepping for, right? But I mean, they're literally over there in their little corner of this parking lot, and there's got to be 30 vehicles. They had these vans and all sorts of stuff. And so, I mean, these guys are prepping for war. And so, and we're just over there filming, and one of the patrol vehicles comes over to us, and they're like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" We're like, "We're filming." And they were like, "Is he a real cop?" "No, he's an actor." "Is that a real gun?" "No, it's a blank. It only shoots blanks, and it's not loaded." And the cop just kind of looked at us like we were really bizarre, and we had permits, and he looked at those and he was like, "All right, you guys have fun." And you could tell they were not impressed. We were cosplaying them, and it was a little bit embarrassing, but also a little bit terrifying because we were like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why are these guys over here right now?" And then they eventually went off and did their sting or bust or whatever it was. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. Gosh, what else? I mean, there's stories of not having bathrooms. There's stories of getting accosted by teenagers with real guns on an abandoned mountaintop, like mansion foundation, where these kids would come up and drink and do drugs and shoot guns. And we were filming a music video. We packed up and left immediately because we're like, no. There's stories about Oh man, there's so many stories. Yeah, there's some good ones. There's some really good ones. Nothing like there's nothing tragic or illegal or anything like that, but oh God. If you're in this industry long enough, you end up getting you get some doozies, you know. Yeah. At a table read, I got to sit next to Chris Farley's brother, Kevin Farley, for a table read for a TV show that we were kind of in talks to produce. And then we ended up seeing him after we got done filming a different music video. We ended up seeing Kevin at a bar on Sunset. It was like a rap party for this music video. And so we went over, Michael and I went over and said, "What's up, Kevin?" He's like, "Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? You know, blah, 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 blah. What are you guys up to?" And then I look over and he's sitting with David Spade. I'm like, I didn't see you there, David. You know, how you doing? Oh, good, man. What? Yeah, it was crazy. It was like the ghost of Tommy Boy was right there. This as close as I'll ever get to meeting two of my idols together, Kevin Farley and David Spade. Farley and Spade together at a bar, just having a drink, chilling. That was it. That was really amazing. All right, we're running out of time here, folks. This is actually really fun. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if this was going to be a drudge to get through, but this has actually been a lot of fun. And I want to do more. So I'm going to wrap up this episode, and maybe what I'll do is I'm going to record the rest of this stuff, and this will just kind of be a continuation for the next episode. This is great. I like this. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask. Again, hit me up on Instagram. That's probably the best spot to connect with me. Also, all the episodes are uploaded there in like a little post with a link, whatever. There's a link tree in the Instagram bio. So check that out. Working on some merch, Hollywood is Dead merch, and that's going to go to help support this channel. And really excited about that. And yeah, I'll keep you guys filled in on all my fun little things that I'm doing right now. Super stoked. It's been a great year. It's been a really fun year. And I'm just looking forward to more. So, all right, guys, get out there, make some art, and I will catch you on the flip side.